Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to tackle something I think we can all relate to. Stress.
Stress.
But don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those like lecture-y things where it's like, oh, you're stressed, just don't be.
Right.
No, no, no. We're going to actually dive deep, as we do, into some surprisingly simple yet powerful techniques to manage stress more effectively.
Hmm.
So think of this as like your toolkit for a calmer, more resilient you.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating about stress is it's not always a bad thing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it can be a powerful motivator. It can help us focus, perform under pressure. The key is like finding that sweet spot,
Mm.
where it energizes you without like overwhelming you.
It's true. It's like, you know that feeling you get right before like a big presentation?
Yeah,
You're a little nervous, but it also kind of pushes you to do your best.
exactly. But when that stress becomes chronic, that's when it starts to really affect our health and well-being.
Mm.
And that's where these techniques come in. It's like they give you little resets for your mind and body. You regain control when things start to feel like crazy.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's dive into these techniques. One of the, I think, most powerful tools in your stress-busting arsenal is something you do every day without even thinking about it. Breathing.
Breathing, yes.
But when you're stressed, your breathing tends to become like shallow and rapid, which
Okay.
actually fuels the stress response even more.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, really. That's why deep, deliberate breathing is so effective. It signals to your body, like, hey, chill out, it's time to relax. And it can actually, like, slow down your heart rate, lower your blood pressure.
It's true. I've tried those deep breathing exercises
Yeah.
before, and it's amazing how quickly they can shift your mood.
Oh, for sure.
It's like hitting the pause button on the stress.
Absolutely. And the best part is you can do it anytime, anywhere. Like one of the sources we looked at suggested this really simple technique called the 4-7-8 breath.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, you inhale for a count of 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8.
So simple,
Yeah.
but I bet it makes a big difference.
Huge. The extended exhale, that's key.
Okay.
It helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which, that's the one that's responsible for the rest and digest response. So it's like you flip a switch from like stress mode to relaxation mode.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got deep breathing down. What about those times when stress like starts to manifest physically?
Right.
You know, the tight shoulders, the clenched jaw, I get it all.
Oh, the tension headaches. Yeah, one of the sources, they highlighted the importance of movement and stretching, like
Yeah.
just giving your body a mini break from the stress.
You know, I know when I'm stressed, I hunch over at my computer,
Oh, yeah.
which just makes everything worse.
Makes it all worse, yeah.
Yeah.
But even like gentle stretches, those can make a huge difference. Think like shoulder rolls, neck tilts, even just like standing up and reaching for the sky.
It's true. And what's fascinating to me is that, you know, those movements, they not only release the physical tension, but they also get your blood flowing, which can really help
Mm.
clear your head and like boost your energy.
Absolutely.
Plus hitting the reset button on like both your body and mind.
Exactly. And you don't need a fancy gym or a yoga mat. Like
No.
you can incorporate those stretches into your daily routine, whether you're at your desk, waiting in line, or even watching TV.
Right, just like sneaking it in.
Totally.
Love that. Okay, so it's all about finding those little pockets of time to just de-stress. Now, this next technique is all about the power of your thoughts. Positive self-talk.
Oh, the power of the mind, right.
Yeah.
Our thoughts, they have this incredible influence on our emotions and how we experience stress.
Mm-hmm.
When we're stressed, it's so easy to get caught in this like spiral of negative thinking, which just amplifies the feeling of overwhelm.
Oh, 100% yes. It's like my inner critic just goes into overdrive.
Whoa, we all have that inner critic.
Uh,
But the key is to like recognize those negative thought patterns and then consciously challenge them.
Right. Don't let them win.
Exactly. So one of the sources we found suggested like replacing those negative thoughts with positive affirmations.
So instead of saying, I can't handle this, you would say something like, I am capable. I can get through this.
That's it. It might feel like a little awkward at first,
Right.
but with practice, it can become a powerful way to shift your mindset, and build your resilience.
It's all about like reframing your perspective, right?
Yes.
Instead of focusing on the problem, you're focusing on your ability to overcome it.
Exactly. Like you're choosing to see the glass half full rather than half empty.
Yeah,
And the more you practice that positive self-talk, the more natural it becomes.
it's true. Okay, so we've talked about our breath, our body, and our thoughts. What about those times when we just need to like quiet the mind chatter altogether.
Ah, yes, meditation.
Meditation.
It's often seen as this like mystical practice, but it can be surprisingly simple and accessible, Like even a few minutes of focused attention can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've always been a little intimidated by meditation,
Yeah.
but I'm starting to see it doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing.
No, not at all. One of the sources recommended a simple technique called mindfulness meditation,
Okay.
and all you do is focus on your breath. Just notice the sensations of each inhale and each exhale.
And if your mind wanders, you just gently bring it back to your breath.
Exactly. It's not about like emptying your mind completely,
Yeah.
but rather becoming aware of those thoughts, but without judgment.
Right.
It's like creating a space of calm amidst the mental chaos.
This all makes so much sense. It's like giving your mind a much-needed break from that constant stream of thoughts and worries.
Right. And the more you practice, the better you become at recognizing those thought patterns and just letting them go.
Okay. I'm feeling calmer already just talking about this.
Me too.
But before we get too relaxed, let's move on to our next stress-busting technique. Hydration and breaks.
Ah, yes, the essentials.
The essentials.
When we're stressed, it's so easy to forget about basic self-care,
Yeah.
Like drinking enough water, taking regular breaks.
It's so true.
It really is.
I am so guilty of that. I get so caught up in, like, whatever I'm doing that I will forget to even get up from my desk for hours.
And it's a common trap. But, remember your body and mind need those breaks to recharge, to refocus.
Totally. So, besides staying hydrated, what are some, like, good ways to take a break? Like, what should we be doing?
Well, one source emphasized getting away from your workspace, Even if it's just for a few minutes, like take a walk, step outside for some fresh air, or even just look out the window and let your mind wander a bit.
Oh, I love that. Sometimes just changing your environment can make a world of difference.
It really can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a long break. Even like 5 or 10 minutes can be enough to just reset your energy, and you come back feeling refreshed.
Yeah, it's like hitting the refresh button on your brain.
Totally.
Okay. We have covered a lot of ground here. I'm starting to feel like a stress management pro,
Awesome.
but I know there's more to come.
You're right, there's more. We've still got a few more powerful techniques to explore, so stay tuned.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back. We were just talking about the importance of like hydration and breaks as part of your stress management toolkit,
Yeah? It's funny how, like, those basic things, they can sometimes be the hardest to remember when you're feeling, like, overwhelmed.
So true. When our minds are racing, it's like we neglect our body's needs.
Totally.
But that's exactly why it's so important to like make that conscious effort to stay hydrated and give ourselves those like much needed breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on to our next technique, which is all about reaching out and connecting with others. Talking to someone.
Oh, the power of human connection.
It's so important.
It's amazing how just like sharing your thoughts and feelings with someone you trust, it can just like lighten your load so much.
It's true. It's like that feeling you get after, like, venting to a friend about a stressful situation. You're like, oh, huh. It doesn't seem so overwhelming anymore.
Exactly. Like bottling up our emotions, that can actually make stress worse. One study we came across found that people who regularly confide in others, they tend to have lower stress levels and better overall well-being.
It makes sense. We are, like, social creatures by nature. We're wired for connection.
Absolutely. Like talking to someone, it helps us process our emotions. You get a fresh perspective. You realize you're not alone in your struggles.
Yeah, sometimes, just having that listening ear, that can make all the difference.
Right. It's that reminder that we have a support system, people who care about us and want to help.
Totally. So who should we be talking to? Is it better to, like, reach out to a friend or a family member or even maybe, like, a therapist?
Yeah, it depends. It really depends on like the situation and what you're comfortable with.
Sometimes, like a heart-to-heart with a close friend or family member, that's all you need. But other times, seeking, like, professional guidance from a therapist, that can provide you with some really valuable insights and coping mechanisms.
It's like having like a coach in your corner helping you navigate those challenging moments.
Exactly. The key is to find someone you trust and who you feel comfortable opening up to.
And remember, reaching out for help, that is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely. It takes
Sure.
courage to acknowledge that we need support, and it's a
Yeah.
vital part of taking care of, our mental and emotional well-being.
Totally. Okay, we are on to our final stress-busting technique for this deep dive, and it's one of my favorites. Practicing gratitude.
Ah, yes, the power of appreciation. No, when we're stressed, it's so easy to fixate on, like, what's going wrong in our lives.
Hmm.
But shifting our focus to what we're grateful for, that can have a profound impact on, like, our mood and our outlook.
It's like that saying, gratitude turns what we have into enough. Exactly. And, research backs this up. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude, they experience all sorts of benefits, including reduced stress levels, improved sleep quality, and increased happiness.
I've tried gratitude journaling before, and it is amazing how much of a difference it can make. Even on my most stressful days, I can always find something to be thankful for.
Yeah, it's like training your brain to scan for the good rather than the bad.
I love that. So how do we, like, cultivate more gratitude in our lives? Do we need to start a gratitude journal, or are there other ways to practice it?
Oh, there's tons of ways. Journaling is great, but you can also just take a few moments each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as like a warm cup of coffee in the morning, or a beautiful sunset, or
Yeah.
like a kind gesture from a stranger.
I love that. It's about, like, finding those little moments of joy throughout the day.
Exactly. And, the more you practice gratitude, the more you start to notice those little things. It's like this ripple effect, spreading positivity and appreciation throughout your life.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered 7, count them, 7 powerful techniques for managing stress.
7.
Deep breathing, quick stretching, positive self-talk, simple meditation, hydration and breaks, talking to someone, and practicing gratitude. That's a lot to take in.
It is a lot, but remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Right.
Start with like one or two techniques that really resonate with you,
Yeah,
and you can gradually incorporate more as you go.
totally. It's about finding what works best for you and making it a part of your daily routine.
Exactly. Stress management, it's a journey. It's not a destination. There will be days when you feel more stressed than others.
Of course.
But with these tools in your toolkit, you'll be better equipped to navigate those challenging moments and create a calmer, more resilient you.
Absolutely. And remember, taking care of your mental and emotional well-being is just as important as taking care of your physical health.
So true. I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today. Before we wrap up, I want to mention a fantastic resource for anyone looking to boost their English skills.
Oh, yes. We have a special message for our listeners who are learning English. Today's episode is brought to you by Kaz English.
Kaz English.
It's a fantastic language learning app that's designed for beginners and intermediate learners.
If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably already interested in improving your English, and Kaz English can help. They use real-life conversations and interactive exercises to make learning, fun and engaging.
Plus, they cover a wide range of topics, so you can learn the vocabulary and grammar you need for, like, everyday situations.
I've checked out Kaz English myself, and I was really impressed with their approach. They focus on building confidence and fluency through practical, real-world conversations.
And they have a really user-friendly interface, so it's easy to navigate and find the content that's right for you. So if you're ready to take your English to the next level, head over to https.kazapp.uk to learn more and sign up for a free trial. You won't regret it.
Now, back to our deep dive on stress management. What's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
I think the most important takeaway is that you have more control over your stress levels than you might realize.
That's right. It's not about eliminating stress altogether. It's about learning how to manage it effectively so it doesn't overwhelm you.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Be kind to yourself, keep practicing these techniques, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Well said. We hope you found this deep dive helpful and empowering.
Now, for all of you amazing listeners out there, if you enjoyed these deep dives into fascinating topics, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating content that you love.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep taking care of yourselves.
Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing techniques for, like, managing stress.
Yeah.
Breathing, moving, thinking positive thoughts, connecting with others, appreciating what we have. It's like we've built this incredible toolkit.
We have.
But what's the best way to actually use it?
That's the question, right? And that's where it gets really interesting because it's not about trying to do all 7 techniques perfectly all the time.
Right.
It's about finding what works best for you and incorporating it into your life in a way that, feels sustainable.
So it's more about personalization than perfection.
Yes.
I like that.
Think of it like building a muscle. You wouldn't expect to run a marathon after one day at the gym, right?
No.
Same with stress management. Start small, be
Hmm.
consistent, and you gradually build up your resilience over time.
Okay, that makes total sense. But with so many different techniques, it can be hard to know where to start. Do you have any advice on how to choose which ones to focus on first?
One of the sources had a really great suggestion, which was like, pay attention to your own stress signals.
Okay.
Notice how your body and mind react when you're feeling stressed.
Hmm.
Do you get tense shoulders, a racing heart? Are there negative thoughts like swirling in your head? Once you know your personal stress patterns, you can choose techniques that directly address those specific
That's
challenges.
so smart. It's like being like a detective of your own stress.
Exactly. So, for example, if you notice that you tend to hold tension in your body, like focusing on stretching and movement might be a good starting point. Or if your mind tends to race with anxious thoughts, maybe exploring meditation or positive self-talk could be really helpful.
It's about tailoring your approach to your unique needs. I
Yes.
love that.
And remember, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one person might not work for another. Experiment with different techniques, see what feels good, and adapt them to fit your own lifestyle and preferences.
It's like creating your own personalized stress management menu. Yeah.
Exactly. And just like a good menu, you can choose different options, depending on the situation. Some days you might just need a quick stretch break, while other days you might benefit from a longer meditation session or, a heart-to-heart with a friend.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. It's not about finding the perfect technique. It's about building a toolbox of strategies that you can draw from whenever you need them.
Yes.
I love that.
And, don't be afraid to get creative. The sources that we explored, they highlighted a wide range of techniques, but there are countless others out there.
Right.
Explore what resonates with you, whether it's listening to music, spending time in nature, pursuing a hobby, anything that brings you joy and helps you unwind.
So they're giving yourself permission to prioritize your own well-being.
Exactly. Stress management, it's an ongoing process and it's an investment in your overall health and happiness.
Well said. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. What's one final takeaway you want to leave them with?
Here's a challenge for you. What's one small change you can make today to manage stress more effectively?
Hmm.
Maybe it's, taking 5 minutes to practice deep breathing, or setting aside time for a quick walk, or simply making a conscious effort to notice the things that you're grateful for.
I love that. Small changes can lead to big results over time. And remember, you deserve to feel calm, centered, and in control of your life.
Absolutely. You have the power within you to create a more peaceful and resilient you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into stress-busting techniques. We hope you found it helpful and empowering. And remember, keep diving deep into the things that matter to you. Until next time, take care.